Good evening, guys. Good evening. So tonight, let us have a conversation about President Ibrahim Traorè. I know this is a topic that has been done by so many people. To some people, it's even actually boring. I could not resist, guys. This man deserves to be talked about. This man deserves the attention. This man deserves to be held up there because, sure, how refreshing this is. Somebody that is young, somebody that knows that many years to come is still gonna be here, so he has to do things right. Please welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Yo, guys, I am not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of this beautiful country. And in this case, I believe that my views count in the affairs of our beautiful continent, child. A continent that we pray that she rises to be what she's supposed to be, not to be collecting donations, but be handing out donations because, with that rich, we just mismanaging. So when you see somebody like a President Ibrahim Traorè doing things right, you're like, this is refreshing. So we're going to be looking at the list of the things that he has done. Son, it's not believable. In 2 years, all in 2 years. But before we do that, we're just going to have a look a bit. His background. Who is this man? Okay. Traorè was born on the 14th of March 1988. So guys, I'm reading from his Wikipedia because I don't want to miss anything. In 1988 is a Burkinafaso military officer who has been in the interim leader of Burkina Faso since the September 2022 coup d'etat that ousted the interim president Paul Henry Sandaogo Damiba. At age 36, Traorè is currently the second youngest serving state leader in the world and the youngest serving president. Receiving his primary education in Bondokui, he attended a high school in Bobodiaula. So guys, please pardon me if I don't read this name very well. They're so difficult for my tongue, and I talk less of the ones that are in French. Where he was known as being quiet and very talented. From 2006, he studied geology at the University of Ouagadougou. He was part of the Association of Muslim Students, and the Mexis Association Nationale. No, I'm not going to be reading that, but to summarize it, it's ANEP. It's ANEP. The French one, I'm not going to be reading that. It's so difficult for me. And in the latter, he rose to delegate and became known for defending his classmates in disputes. See, that's a sign of leadership right there. He graduated from the university with honors. Now we look at his military career, Sana. Traorè joined the army of Burkina Faso in 2009 and graduated from the Georges Namuano Military Academy. He was sent to Morocco for anti-aircraft training before being transferred to an infantry unit in Gaya, a town in northern Burkina Faso. Promoted to lieutenant in 2014, Traorè joined MINUSMA, a United Nations peacekeeping force involved in the Mali War. When we talk about Mali War, we're talking about things that are happening in our continent. This is the thing that hurts me the most. I wish we could just have this huge drain where we can flush all the guns, all the weapons, everything, and just throw them away. Any weapon that seeks to spill the blood of an African child, but through the hand of another African child. Guys, this thing needs to stop. It doesn't sit well. In 2018, He was cited as one of the MINUSMA soldiers who showed courage during major rebel attacks in the Timbuktu region. Yo, guys, these names say gay. Yo, in the Timbuktu region. He subsequently returned to Burkina Faso, where he assisted in operations against the escalating jihadist insurgency. Traorè fought in Djibouti in the Otapuanu offensive in 2019 and several other counter-insurgency operations in the country's north. He was promoted to captain in 2020. Traorè later claimed that he became disillusioned with his country's leadership around his time as he saw the widespread lack of equipment in Burkinabe soldiers, while politicians were handing out suitcases of money for bribery. He gradually became the spokesman for soldiers stationed in the north who were frustrated over their government. His rise to power. Yo, how did he become president? Because, child, if you didn't know, I'm about to dish it out to you through his Wikipedia. Traorè was part of the group of army forces that supported the January 2022 Burkina Faso coup d'etat and brought the patriotic movement for safeguard and restoration military junta to power. From March 2022, he served as the head of an artillery regiment in Kaya. Whether he was ever associated with the Cobra Special Forces, a counter-terrorist unit founded in 2029, is disputed. According to BBC Al Jazeera, I'm not going to be reading this other name, guys, because I know I won't succeed. He was part of the unit at some point. However, news magazine Jeune Afrique stated that he was never associated with the Cobra. Many supporters of the January coup became dissatisfied with the performance of Paul Henry Sandaogo Damiba, the junta's leader, regarding his inability to contain the jihadist insurgency. Traorè later claimed that he and other officers had tried to get Damiba to refocus on the rebellion, but eventually opted to overthrow him as his ambitions were diverting away from what we set out to do, quote unquote. The dissatisfaction about the situation was highest among younger officers who fought against the rebels and at the front lines. In addition, there were delays in pay of the Cobra troops. When the plotters launched their coup on 30th September, Traorè still held the rank of captain. The operation was carried out with support of the Cobra unit. In the direct aftermath of the coup, Traorè was chosen as the new head of the patriotic movement for safeguard and restoration. On 6 October, he also assumed the position of interim president as head of state, supreme head of the armed forces. He initially promised to hold democratic elections in 2024. Now, his presidency, consolidation of power, as President Traorè has maintained the enigmatic and very formal behavior for which he was already been known for before rising to power. He had kept a tight control on his communication while carefully trying to present himself primarily as a war leader, possibly to avoid the poor public image of his predecessors. His presidency has also seen an increase of pro-government propaganda in Burkinabe traditional media and social media. Politically, Le Monde journalist Sophie Daoshek described Traorè as influenced by Marxism and Pan-Africanism. So as for Pan-Africanism, as for me as an individual, if Pan-Africanism is going to look like what President Ibrahim Traorè is doing in Burkina Faso, sign me up, Shem. Sign me up. I'm tired of not knowing whether I'm here or there, seeing no direction, no. Please, In April 2023, he declared a general mobilization of the population to support the military as rebel forces continued to increase the rate of their attacks. Traorè publicly pledged to reconquer all rebel-held areas and that there would be no negotiations until the insurgency had been greatly weakened. In the following month, Traorè questioned the planned restoration of democracy for 2024, stating that elections could not be held unless insurgents were pushed back at the security and the security situation had been improved. On 26 September on the same year, dissatisfied elements of the military unsuccessfully attempted to overthrow Traorè. Sana! Yo, no matter how good you are, there will always be somebody that is not satisfied about what you're doing. Let's go to that again. National consultations were held on 25-26 May 2024 to discuss the future of the transition in Burkina Faso. While participants included civil society representatives, most political parties boycotted the consultations. I think I would too, because if somebody just came and took power like that, they were still angry. The result was the extension of President Traorè's mandate for an additional 5 years, while also allowing him to contest the next presidential election. As things stand, I think the people of Burkina Faso will just vote for Traorè again, because what a man, what a leader. On the 6th December 2024, Traorè dissolved his government and removed the Dambela as prime minister. Yo, these names, guys. Gold and general mining sector developments. In November 2023, Burkina Faso's Council of Ministers approved the construction of the country's first gold refinery. This marked a significant development in Burkina Faso's gold sector, aiming to capitalize on the nation's growing gold mining industry. Traorè seeks to gain more control over its gold resources and refining gold domestically rather than exporting unrefined materials. This would increase government's revenue and economic benefits from the gold sector. The refinery is set to create 100 new jobs and 5,000 new indirect jobs, with the refinery producing roughly 400 kilograms of gold daily. Yeah, guys. So all of this was being exported and come back to us very expensive. Yeah, we were led by, I don't want to even say the word that is in my mouth. In February 2024, Traorè ordered the suspension of the issuance of exports permits for small-scale private gold production. Sorry, guys. A move reportedly aimed at tackling illicit trade, which consists of smuggling gold abroad, avoiding taxes and regulations, and cleaning up the artisanal gold sector. This suspension aims to crack down on such activities and ensure that exported gold is properly documented and contributes to government's revenue. Good man, yo, Sana. The government hopes this suspension will establish a more formal and accountable system for exporting small-scale produced gold. Foreign relations, no, you know what, I'm not, or maybe let me read it as well. Foreign relations shift from France to Russia. In February 2023, Traorè's government expelled the French forces assisting in fighting the local insurgency from Burkina Faso. He subsequently declared that we really want to look at other horizons because we want win-win partnership. Danke Traorè. Yo, kunini sidliwa madoda. Supporting the diversification of Burkina Faso's international partnerships. Shortly after, Traorè's government expressed support for a federation with Mali and both invited Guinea. You see, this is why I am saying, if Pan-Africanism looks like what is happening in Burkina Faso under the leadership of Ibrahim Traorè, sign me up, because now here is a country that is being led by the president that is moving the country forward and is seeking to have peace with his neighbors, the neighboring countries, just to work together and move forward. Not what is happening in the that is a story for another day, and I want to do a video about that. That's where our problems are going to come from. I'm telling you, in this journey that Africa seems to be on, that area is going to disturb the whole thing, because there's going to be sellouts, and I already see some. All three countries are under military leadership. And if it were to become a union, and it would be the largest country ruled by military junta. To replace French military support, Traoré forged closer ties to Turkey and Russia. You see, now Africa has to have alternatives, because this bullying that is being shown by Donald Trump is something else. We need to look, to look somewhere where things are a bit more comfortable for us as the rich continent. You get. According to Reuters and New York Times, Traoré was suspected of having a connection with Russian mercenary organization Wagner Group due to having expressed anti-French and pro-Russia views. As Traoré entered Ouagadougou, the nation's capital, supporters cheered, some waving Russian flags. Interesting, right? The government of Ghana publicly alleged that Traoré began collaborating with the Wagner Group following the coup, enlisting the mercenaries against the jihadist rebels. Traoré denied this, claiming that our Wagner are the VDP, referencing the volunteers of the defense of the home state. On 29 July 2023, following the 2023 Russia-Africa Summit, Traoré said that the people of his country support Russia and communicated that a decision had been made to reopen the Russian embassy, which was closed in 1992. According to the newspaper Le Monde, in May 2023, the Traoré regime seems for the time being to be favoring the use of its own forces in the fight against jihadists, and has not asked Wagner's Russians for help. Russian troops, including the Wagner Group, were eventually deployed in Burkinafaso in January 2024. Yes, Anna and Saz. So basically, I'm going to leave it right here. And then, guys, I think maybe we now understand where this man comes from, how he rose to power, if he had any leadership traits at the beginning in his early life. And we saw that too, that he was this person that used to protect and defend the people that are around them and become their spokesman. This man did not just rise to power by chance. No, he didn't. So what we're going to be doing now, we're going to be looking at his achievements, the things that he has done within 2 years. It's a shame to other leaders of this continent. I don't care where you are, your leader cannot be outperforming Traoré at this very moment. Hey guys, let us look into this. And number one, Burkina Faso's GDP grew from approximately $18.8 billion to $22.1. Yay, guys. Okay, number two, he has rejected loans from International Monetary Funds, IMF, and the World Bank. He said, Africa doesn't need the World Bank, IMF, Europe, or America. Sana sakutandi Traoré. Number three, he reduced the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30% and increased the salaries of civil servants by 50%. You see, this is what needs to happen to South Africa, because you go to the clinic, the nurses perform, because you go to Home Affairs, they deal with you because the payment is not so good. Government employees are complaining everywhere. Your teachers, your SABs, everybody's just not happy. So we need to cut from parliamentarians. When I Traoré, I do agree with you. Number four, he paid off Burkina Faso's local debts. Guys, At number 5, established 2 tomato processing plants, the first ever in Burkina Faso. Shoo! It's like you're reading something that is unreal. At number 6, 2023, he inaugurated a state-of-the-art gold mine to enhance local processing capabilities. At number 7, he stopped the exports of unrefined Burkina Faso gold to Europe. You gotta love this man. Number 8, he built Burkina Faso's second cotton processing plant. Previously, the country had only one. Number 9, he opened the first ever national support center for artisanal cotton processing to assist local cotton farmers. Hey, Jongan guys, you know these things used to be here in South Africa as well. Anyway, at number 10, he banned the wearing of British legal wigs and gowns in local courts and introduced traditional Burkina attire. Hey, these wigs, they finish me. I've seen Africans before, but most of the time they'd be dragging Nigerians. So what are you doing with these things? Anyway, guys, we are seeing the light as Africa. Sana, we are seeing the light. I don't care what you're saying, but we are seeing the light. At number 11, he prioritized agriculture by distributing over 400 tractors, 239 tillers, 710 motor pumps, and 714 motorcycles to boost production and support rural stakeholders. Number 12, he provided access to improved seeds and other farm inputs to maximize agricultural output. Guys. Hey, at number 13, tomato production in Burkina Faso increased from 115,000 metric tons in 2022 to 360 metric tons in 2024. Aye, guys. At number 14, millet production rose from 907,000 metric tons in 2022 to 1.1 million metric tons in 2024. In number 15, rice production increased from 280,000 metric tons in 2022 to 326,000 metric tons in 2024. He banned French military operations in Burkina Faso. That's number 16. Number 17, he banned French media in Burkina Faso. Hey, Sana. Number 18, he expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. Guys. Number 20, the government is constructing new roads, widening existing ones, and upgrading gravel roads to paved surfaces. Guys, number 20, and the last one, he is building a new airport in Ouagadougou, Dawson Airport, I think that is what it's called, which is expected to be completed in 2025 with a capacity to handle 1 million passengers annually. How many African leaders can boast this kind of achievement in 2 years? I'll wait. Guys, I will so wait because I know this is non-existent. This bar is so low that we are so smitten and taken by President Traorè. You cannot tell me anything about this guy. So this is what I'm saying. Sorry, guys. So what I will do tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a video about Pan-Africanism. I just touched on it a bit because for me, if Pan-Africanism looks like what Traorè is doing, imagine all African countries having their Traorès, the people that are actually making sure that things are running well within their countries before merging all these countries under one umbrella and saying United States of Africa. We cannot be United States of Africa with a mess. with a mess. Anyway, guys, if you watched up to here, thank you for watching my videos. This is South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. And go, guys.